How many times have you been told in the game of golf that in order to hit this golf ball further and straighter, you need to be making a bigger swing? Well, that isn't quite true. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a great drill that I gave one of my students last week that allowed him to gain more distance, more accuracy, much better ball striking with his irons that anyone can copy. So for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Harry, PGA golf professional, transforming golfers worldwide, one shot at a time. So drop a comment down below of a video you'd like to see next and hit that subscribe button if you enjoy watching this one. So taking a look at this video on the right hand side of the screen here, what we can see is my student was really suffering with getting this scooping motion taking place through impact with his full swing taking place. And this really limits this distance, accuracy, and with the majority of the golf shots, as you can imagine, if we're opening this face, getting this scooping motion taking place under the golf ball, it leaves the club face way open, pushing those golf shots out to the right. Too spinny, no distance, no good for our golf games. So the backswing, however, looked fairly decent. Yes, we were rolling the wrist ever so slightly on the way back, but not too much in order for us to react and get this well open face, this scooping motion taking place in the downswing. So I knew that in my student's swing, somewhere in that downswing phase, we were causing this scooping motion here taking place, this almost opening up of the club face and getting this weird sort of strange release, leaning back motion to take place. Now, the main reason for this is if I was to take the club, and this is what I showed my student to begin with, if I was to take the club out in front of us like this here, just dead straight, nice and square club face, okay? And I'm just going to keep my arms nice and still. They are not allowed to move when I make this motion take place. And if I was just to try and open up purposely this club face, just using the wrist angles, I'm going to do this motion here. So when we have a look at this motion here a little bit closer, what we can see is when I do this twisting motion here and it opens the club face, it sets this lead wrist into what we call a very much so cupped position. So when we get this cupped or extended position taking place, in the downswing, this is what we were doing to get this scooping motion taking place. This is what we found out. We found out that as he's transitioning, looking at the video here again, as he's transitioning into that downswing, somewhere in this downswing, we are encouraging this motion taking place with those hands, those wrists, and therefore affecting that club face at impact massively. So the only thing that we can do from this action here, because if we were just to continue swinging down towards impact, what's leading the race? The hosel side of the club. So that's going to cause those heel strikes or even worse, those shanks. So in order for us to stop this from taking place, we've got to lean back and get this scooping motion to take place here to try and get that club face close to square and see straighter shots. Obviously, it's very difficult to time this, and if you apply a little bit of speed to this, it's going to be very difficult to get this scooping motion, get this timing taking place and hitting the ball straighter and further. So rather than getting this action taking place in the downswing, we almost want to encourage more of this action here. So you can see that I have slightly moved my hand to get this action taking place, my wrist forward as I am twisting and rotating my wrist the opposite way to set ourselves into this bowed or more flexed position to take place. And this helps us reduce this loft at impact to get more compression on our irons, but also it squares up that club face massively. So in order for us to do this, in order for my student to do this, first off, I got him just taking the club away for now. And I got him just setting up as if he was to make a couple of chipping swings. Left hand on the chest, right hand out in front with the palm facing towards the net. Just set in this little bit of an angle here like so with the wrist. And all I got my student doing was just swinging back and forth, rotating a little bit until his palm, this hand reached parallel to ground on the way through. And the aim was, as we got just after impact, we wanted that palm to be facing towards our target, as opposed to this palm tilting this way and the palm pointing too far upwards and to the right of the target. So just swinging back and forth with the aim to get this palm to face towards the target just after that point of impact. So there's impact directly in line with the golf ball from my eye line here. Just after impact, just somewhere here in line with the lead foot, getting that palm to face towards the target. So we just made a couple of swings back and forth, getting used to this motion here. So then when we brought the club into play, just doing this, we were just encouraging these little chip shots to take place again. Same feel, taking one hand on the club just to begin with, back and forth like so. Trying to almost hold this angle into this position here, keeping the club face nice and square. As you can see, look at the wrist angle there. It's not in this angle here, getting this scooping motion taking place. We're getting that right palm of ours to face towards the target. Taking two hands, same feel, up to the top, on the way through there, keeping this angle taking place in that right wrist. And we just hit a couple of shots just to begin with, taking this club back and through, with the aim to hit them straighter down the middle, as opposed to getting a little bit scoopy and hitting them too far to the right like that one there. So the first part of this one, we got my student getting this right palm to feel like we're facing it more towards the target for those chip-in swings back and forth like so. That was a much better one there, finishing left of target. So moving on to the second stage of this, I got my student really trying to focus on just adding that little bit more speed, a little bit more tension on the way through, just to ensure we're getting this angle, maintaining this new angle to take place just after that impact move. So the feeling was that as we were swinging back and forth, trying to get that right palm to face towards the target, the second point was as soon as we get to this point here, our goal there, so my carry distance there was 29.9 yards, our goal was to make that same swing but double the distance. So the next stage, we just got this action taking place, and on the way through, we're just pushing the hands more forward. When we get this scooping action, it almost feels like we're pulling this club downwards like so. Instead, we want to be getting this push through to the target. Again, right palm facing towards the target just after impact. Same feel, back and forth like so. Really, really compressed shot there. Carry there was 64.7. I may have swung a little bit further back just to help me with that, but that was definitely more of a push through to the target. When we started making a few bigger swings, when I say bigger swings, not all the way around the body, just ever so slightly longer swings like this one here, we were noticing some of the shots were a little bit behind the golf ball, getting this scoopy motion back into place, even when we tried to get this right hand to push on the way through. So the third stage was I introduced a training aid to my student, a training aid that allowed him to really force this angle here to take place on the way through with both the wrists this time, as opposed to feeling it in the right wrist only. How can we get this feeling to take place in this lead wrist as well to really prevent this cup position taking place on the way through? So to save time, I've got another golf club here, another 6-iron in fact, just with this training aid on. So this training aid here is called the hanger. Now the hanger, you can see here this green line, this circular line taking place in the golf club. That's what needs to be touching this lead arm, this left arm, as we make our downswing, and we're trying to apply more pressure on this as we make our way through. Scoopers of the golf ball will have the tendency, if I just bring the club back to this point here, will have the tendency to get this part of the training aid here, the hanger, to touch the right arm, this trail arm here. And look at that, open club face, look at that lead wrist position, too extended. So doing this here, I just want you to take this hanger. If you haven't got a hanger, you can get one from Golf Swing Systems, by the way, 5% off. I'll leave the links in the description below later on for you. So we're taking the hanger like this here, and I just want you to encourage this green line on the hanger just to touch your lead arm without moving really much of your arm, just moving the wrist, and you will be able to feel your forearms just rotating over like this here. To get those forearms rotating, we're getting this pressure into this lead arm here like so. And look what that does to the club face. It helps us keep it square, as I mentioned earlier. So this really does help us get this forearm rotation, this great compression taking place in this downswing. So as I make my way to this top of the swing, ever so slightly further than that chipping swing. We're going to swing up to the top here, just allowing this to slightly touch the lead side of the arm. Again, you can do this without this. This just makes it much easier to feel this applied pressure taking place in that push motion with the lead arm as well. So up to the top of the swing, feeling it, you will be able to feel it on the left arm here. We're going to apply this pressure using both of my arms now. So I'm almost feeling like my lead arm is pushing against this one here, and I'm pushing my right arm forward like so, really getting this extension taking place in the right arm to force even more pressure on this lead arm here. And look how much this sets that lead wrist in that downswing and impact position. Miles better position to be in the golf swing. So we get to the top here, feeling this motion taking place on the downswing, really trying to encourage now the shots to go left of target, making that slightly bigger golf swing. Like that one there. In fact, that one faded slightly back to the target, which was quite nice. Carry was a little bit shorter, but total was much further at 112, so 112 yards. Carry was 86. Let's just try another one doing this before we move on to stage 4. So up to the top of the swing, really adding that pressure onto this lead arm here, just to help us get that compression on the way through. That was a really solid strike of mine. Carry on that one was 111.3 yards with pretty much half a swing of a 6-iron. As we got into the fuller swings, what we noticed my student do, and this is another error that he had during his downswing, which we worked on in another lesson as well, was that as we got to the top of our swing, we noticed this motion taking place, the club pushing too far out in front of us. And this is also more of a promoter of that open club face, and it sets the wrist in a too much of a cup position again. So what we noticed was when we got this even bigger swing taking place, as we pushed the club too far out in front, getting this over the top motion taking place, we got this scooping motion back in our golf game with the hanger touching the trail arm instead of the lead arm. Just a quick shout out to the sponsor of the channel, GX Golf. GX Golf provide high quality golf clubs for a fraction of the price in comparison to the rest on the market. I've been using GX Golf clubs for the last couple of months. I've been really impressed with them so far. I'm still on my first glove, so I'd highly recommend checking them out and also using the discount code below, Harry10, to get yourself 10% off your order. So to stop this, we got another training aid out called the swing plate. Now, the swing plate can come with 2 alignment sticks as well. You can set one on great angles just to make it easier for you, to help you whether you're trying to look for a shallower downswing or a slightly more out to in downswing. This is great for the takeaway as well. So I'm going to place this just about, I would say, a club length away from the golf ball and about 2 inches behind the line of where the golf ball would be. Same angle, I've already set this to the same angle as the 6-iron, just checking it there. Perfect. And what we got my student doing with this was we got him just swinging, and bear in mind we have worked on the takeaway in the past. We got my student working on just ensuring we were getting this takeaway on the way back over that alignment stick here, but on the downswing we had to almost delay this body turn rather than pushing the body out in front, encouraging this over the top move to take place, open up that club face. We encourage this stall in the body, almost like the sternum's still pointing and facing where it is at the top of the swing up until this point here. So my hands now, I'm allowing my hands to fall towards my right foot. When I get my hands to fall towards the right foot, I'm really encouraging this pressure, the palm to be set in that position that we got it set before earlier doing this drill, as we face it towards the target, applying more pressure using the hanger on at this lead arm instead, encouraging that club face to shut down into position here, and then we can rotate everything through, really encouraging that club face then to stay more square, reduce that loft again, and see much straighter shots. Now this is really difficult to hit straight shots, if not the left shots. This is pretty difficult because obviously we've got the alignment stick set on the angle. We've got to feel this in to out path, and really encourage loads more pressure to roll those wrists over a little bit more and get that club face working more square. So I'm just going to do this in stages just to begin with, just like my student did, swinging up to the top, very slow down and turning on the way through. Now that one didn't record for some reason, but that would have definitely gone a little bit to the right. So as we hit a couple of more shots, just getting used to this, we took the alignment stick away and we tried to encourage this feeling all in one motion. Now, bear in mind that if you're not one of those players that encourages this over-the-top move to take place in your downswing, you don't necessarily need to worry about allowing the hands to fall towards the right foot here. But what I would encourage is exaggerating this feeling here, getting this pressure as soon as we begin that transition phase on the downswing. But for my students' case, and for many of you out there that will be suffering with this over-the-top move, we're just encouraging this feeling all in one motion, up to the top of the swing, allowing this motion here to take place. Hands are going towards the right foot here, falling on a vertical plane. We're pushing this right arm down to encourage that palm again to face towards the target. This is more of a push on the way through as opposed to the pull down like this here. So all in one motion, really exaggerating this feel up to the top. And that was a really nice shot. Finished ever so slightly right of the target, so I'm really going to force this one now and see if I can get this going left of my targets. There we go. That was really encouraging that push with the right, applying that pressure with the left on the way through to help us get more set in this position here at impact, as opposed to getting this cupping motion on the way through and stopping this scooping taking place. And that one right there, that was nearly a full swing. Obviously I stopped at this point here to try and control that face, control that feel on the way through, but that was a carry of 176.9 yards with a 6-iron. For those of you who enjoyed the video and come this far, I'd highly recommend hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content coming your way. Don't forget you can get the hanger and the swing plate for 5% off using the discount code SURE5 over at Golf Swing Systems. I'd recommend getting yourself especially one of these to help you really feel that wrist angle taking place on the way through in your golf swing. You can also contact me on Skillis, the online coaching app, if you would like me to check up on your swing and see how you're getting on with doing this motion on the way through, or just any of your overall swing tips or drills that you are currently working on in your golf game. Be sure to check any of these 2 videos out here to help you further improve your golf. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.